So previously we already explained discussed about this first law. So that is given by what? Lavoisier. The volatile Lavoisier, and the second law, this law was given by what? Whom? By the Joseph Proust. And the statement of this second law is that in a chemical, the elements are always present in a definite proportion by a mass. Suppose that we are taking any chemical. Suppose we are taking the example of water, this H2O, and H2O means what? Water. If this water is what? It's a compound. It's a compound, and it compound is formed by what? By the combination of hydrogen and oxygen. Simply, this water is a compound. This water is a compound, and it is formed by the combination of water, hydrogen and oxygen. So according to this law, on the basis of this law, it is said that the elements are always present in a definite proportion. So whatever the elements are present in this compound, in this water, hydrogen and oxygen, so this present in a definite proportion by a mass, means there should be a fixed or constant ratio should be there of their mass. So for example, if you want to form a water by the combination of hydrogen and oxygen, so water is only formed in a only condition when you are taking the mass of hydrogen and oxygen in the ratio of 1:8. Means if you are taking the 1 gram of hydrogen, and for oxygen if you are taking the 8 gram, means the ratio of the mass is 1:8. Only in this condition you can find it H2O. This 9 gram. So means this ratio, you should take hydrogen oxygen in this ratio, in ratio of 1:8. Other than this ratio, if you are taken, suppose that 3:5 or any other 4:6, if you take the 4 gram and 6 gram of oxygen, if you take 3 gram and hydrogen and 5 gram of oxygen, you cannot find it water. That not forms water. The water is only forms when we are taking the hydrogen and oxygen in the ratio of 1:8. Another example, for example, the second example, this ammonia. Ammonia is also a compound which is formed by water, the combination of two elements, nitrogen and oxygen. What are the two elements here in ammonia? Nitrogen and hydrogen. So by the combination of nitrogen and hydrogen, it forms what? Ammonia. So this ammonia is only formed when we are taking the mass of nitrogen and hydrogen in the ratio of 14:3. Means we are taking the nitrogen 14 gram and hydrogen in a 3 gram. So in that condition, means in the ratio of 14:3, then it forms water, ammonia. So only in this condition we are able to get it, or we can able to form what? Ammonia by the nitrogen and the hydrogen. Simply if you are taking nitrogen 5 gram and hydrogen 10 gram, then it not forms ammonia. Means the ratio of nitrogen and hydrogen should be 14:3. Means it is always in this constant or in a fixed ratio, in the ratio of 14:3. That time only we are able to form this ammonia. Okay. I hope you this understand, or everybody you understood this all things. This is another matter that the process we used, that maybe we use different process for formation of this. So for example, simply for the formation of carbon dioxide, if we want to form the carbon dioxide, so carbon dioxide can be formed in the 3 different forms, means by the 3 different methods. 3 different methods. For example, first one, simply when the carbon react with the oxygen, it simply forms CO2. Okay. Second, when this methane, CH4, methane is a compound, means if we are taking any fuel due to burning of fuel. Burning of fuel means when it react with the oxygen, so it also form water. CO2 plus H2O means it release carbon dioxide and some water vapor. Third method for the formation of carbon dioxide, here you also what carbon dioxide. And third method by the decomposition of calcium carbonate, CaCO3. This is the calcium carbonate. When it is decomposed or strong, when it is heated, it decomposes into the calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. So here there are the three different methods for the formation of what? This carbon dioxide. We form this carbon dioxide in a different method. But okay, so here also the formation of ammonia we can apply any other method, but the ratio of the nitrogen and hydrogen should be always in 14:3. Okay, so this is all about this laws of chemical combination, under which we discussed two laws. The law of conservation of mass means mass neither be created nor be destroyed, or you can say the matter neither be created nor be destroyed. Or second, the law of constant proportion means always in a chemical in any chemical the elements are always present in a fixed or in a definite proportion by mass. Okay, I hope you understood all these things. Now next we are going to discuss about the atomic theory. So this atomic theory was proposed by, we are discussing some postulates, some characteristics, some fact or postulates of Dalton atomic theory, which was given by the John Dalton. So now this is all the postulates of a Dalton atomic theory. This Dalton's atomic theory was given by the scientist John Dalton. So who proposed this theory? This theory was proposed by John Dalton. That's why it's known as what? Dalton's atomic theory. So why it is called atomic theory? Because it tells us about some the basic factor or the characteristics of atoms. So now, what are the main postulates? The main postulates, these are the 6 main postulates of atomic theory or John Dalton atomic theory. So we are discuss one by one here. So the first postulates of this atomic theory, Dalton's atomic theory, is all the matter is made up of the tiny particles called atoms, which participate in a chemical reaction. As I told you earlier in the introduction of this chapter, that the atoms is the basic building blocks of all the matter. Means in this universe, in our surroundings, whatever the matters we observe in our surroundings, this all the matters are made up of what? Atoms. Means atoms is the smallest unit of all the matter. Means all these matters, either it is stone, wood, these all things are made up of atoms. Means atoms is the smallest unit of matter, and that is that atoms can take a part in a chemical reaction. Means that is small tiny particles that is known as atoms, and that atoms can participate, it can take a part in a chemical reaction. Means that atom can take part in a chemical reaction. Second, atoms are indivisible particles which cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. Means in any chemical reactions we cannot create or we cannot destroy atoms. And atoms is an indivisible particle. Means it is that is the last limit or last level where it stands. Means atoms is the last stage. Beyond that we cannot able to you can say we cannot able to divide more into its different parts. Means that atoms is a last limit. It is atom is indivisible. We cannot able to divide further more. Okay, मीन्स एटम एक लास्ट स्टेज है, उसके बाद आप उसको और तोड़ नहीं सकते, उसको और छोटे छोटे पार्टों में डिवाइड नहीं कर सकते. और किसी भी केमिकल रिएक्शन में आप एटम्स को नहीं तो क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, नहीं डिस्ट्रॉय कर सकते हैं. दिस थिंग्स टेल्स the second postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. Third things, atoms of a given elements are identical in mass and chemical properties. Atoms of a given elements, suppose that any element, suppose that oxygen, if we are taking the example of oxygen, for example this O2, so this oxygen is made up of two atoms, O and O. Also we can take examples of O3, this ozone is made up of three oxygen atoms, O3, but this all three atoms have same mass. ऐसा नहीं कि तीनों का मास अलग अलग होगा, no. And it also has the same identical properties. ये भी ऑक्सीजन है, ये भी ऑक्सीजन है और ये भी ऑक्सीजन है. ऐसा नहीं है कि ओजोन में ये ऑक्सीजन नहीं है और ये ऑक्सीजन में ये ऑक्सीजन है, no. This is what the molecules, oxygen molecules, okay. And this tells us about, जो यहाँ पे नंबर अपन जो लिखते हैं, this tells us about the number of atoms, means how many numbers of atoms present in that molecule. So here this is the one molecule of ozone and the number of atoms in the ozone is 3, means there are the three different oxygen atom is present in one molecules of ozone. This numbers here, suppose that is 1, this number tells us about the how many molecules is there, okay. And this tells us about the number of atoms. So in ozone, three molecules of oxygen is present, and in the case of oxygen molecule there are the two number of two atoms are present in this so all this so means what, this all the oxygen atoms, or more example for nitrogen N2, this is found in elemental form N2. So nitrogen, this is both atoms N and have the same property, same chemical property, and it has the same mass, okay. Now next one, atoms of different elements have the different masses. If we are taking, if we are considered the two different species, suppose that one is a sulfur and another is a nitrogen, then the sulfur atom have its own property, its own mass, and nitrogen has its own mass and own property. Hydrogen have its own mass, it's a specific mass, and it have a specific property that is not similar to the nitrogen. But oxygen molecules, in the case of oxygen molecule or in the case of ozone molecules, oxygen atoms have the same mass and the same property, okay. But different elements have the different property. Suppose that oxygen have the different property as compared to the hydrogen, and hydrogen have the different property as compared to the nitrogen, and nitrogen different property as compared to the carbon. But all the atoms of a carbon have the same property and the same mass which have a carbon atom. Now next, this fifth, atoms combine in a ratio of a small whole number to form a compound. Whenever the atoms combine and it forms any compound, that should be always in a small whole number ratio. I mean, it should not be in a fraction or in a decimal form. It should be always in a simple or a simplest whole number or a smaller whole number. Just like you see in the case of water, when water is formed from water, hydrogen atoms and oxygen atoms, it is in a ratio of 1:3, means that the 1 and 8 is a whole number. It is not in a 1.5 or 8.5 like that. It is always should be in a smaller whole number, okay. And last one, the relative number and kind of atoms are constant in a given compound. Means the relative number and kinds of atoms are constant. Means whatever the relative numbers and the different kinds of atoms are constant in a given compound. Any compound, means suppose that we are talking about this methane CH4, yeah, water H2O. So number of this carbon and hydrogen atoms are always constant. Means here we have the 1 carbon atoms and we have 4 hydrogen atoms. Okay, these relative numbers are always constant. Here also 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen atom. So this all about the Dalton atomic theory. I hope you understood this all things. I think it is clear for everyone. I hope you there will be no any doubt or any problem. Like that, any problem, any doubt, you can ask to me, no problem for that. I can explain once again. Okay. So thank you with being with us and thank you for watching this video. So in the next class, we are discussing the next topic related to this chapter. Okay, and I hope you are doing your homework properly, everyone. In between the class, next time I will ask about the homework. So you everybody ready for that, and you send the screenshot of your homework. So I come to know that you are doing your work properly. Have a nice day. Thanks again.